This is Kevin Harlan with Greg Anthony and Doris Burke, our game analysts. And from the sideline, David Aldridge. We'll see the Houston Rockets facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. We are nearly ready for the tip-off, but first, let's hear from our very own David Aldridge. DA, it's all yours.
Well, guys, James Harden is a great offensive player, but there's no mistaking it. He does dominate the ball. Now, that can bother teammates sometimes, but Coach Mike D'Antoni says when they feel that paycheck every 2 weeks, that should make them play hard. You have to be a star in your role. So when James gets the ball to you, shoot it, and then run back and play hard as heck. Kevin?
Thanks. He's a great passer, David. There's no doubt he can set the table. And tonight, something we always like to see. Two fierce conference rivals going at it. Doris, what's the difference in emotion in a rivalry game such as this?
Well, what you like about something like tonight's game is there's a little bit of distaste, right? When these two teams meet, something important's on the line, and you can feel the intensity.
Tip-off goes to Houston. A look at the opening lineup for the Houston Rockets. Filling out the wings, it's Harden and Ariza. Anderson is down low with Capella. And it's Paul in at the point guard position. Now here's Westbrook, following the shot by Chris Paul. The pass to Roberson. Ariza against George. Pass to Adams. They set the pick. He feeds it to Roberson. 6 on the shot clock. George, no good.
There's some defense for you. For someone who's as good at shooting the three ball as he is, you need a defender who's equally good at guarding against him.
Now, here's Capella. It's Ariza on the wing, defended by George. Anderson with the screen for Ariza. And he didn't get quite enough under that one. Rockets on defense. Outside, George lets it go from deep. Score the basket. Nice shot after missing his first attempt.
It takes a lot to bother Paul George. The defense was all over him, but in the end, he's just a little bit quicker.
Screen by Capella. Capella sets a screen for Ariza. Passes it to Harden. Great use of the pick to create room for the jumper.
You know, the assist has to go to the screen on that play. Gave him all the room he needed to rise and fire.
Westbrook against Paul. Screen by Adams. Roberson. That 3 off the mark.
Not quite enough defense. That time around, just lucky he was off.
Harden's shot is good.
And with Harden, it's pick your poison. Not only a tenacious penetrator, but also a consistent threat from three-point.
Now here's Westbrook. Over to the left wing. On the wing, George. The dish to Patterson. Over Anderson. Patterson can't get it to go.
That's what we're talking about in terms of the activity level defensively. You got to protect the rim.
No, exactly, Greg. Especially when the ball is that deep inside. You've got to respect how he altered that shot.
Stolen away. Nice job to interrupt the alley-oop attempt there. If you're just tuning in, we played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. And Westbrook, here we go. And off target as he starts the game 0 for 1. And last year, one of the bigger surprises in the NBA, the Houston Rockets.
And remember, absent Dwight Howard, a lot of people thought maybe they're going to take a step back. And in the year where several other super teams in the league kind of took a step forward, the Rockets were able to hold their own. The team has a system that works, and they have bought into it. And top to bottom, they've been making smart decisions.
Count that bucket.
Well, we know that Patrick Patterson can step away and be a force as a face-up guy, but still plenty dangerous inside.
Screen by Capella. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle, and 2 shots coming up. Well, across the board last season, James Harden, Greg, saw his numbers jump through the roof, but he showed improvement both in his defensive engagement as well as his rebounding. Not something that a lot of us saw coming.
Yeah, that's a good point. And with Harden, I think the rebounding is the really surprising number. Went from being an average rebounding guard to a great one the last few seasons. He's been showing more of a dedication to all aspects of the game.
First one falls for him.
And watching James Harden, the amount of shots he is able to create for himself and his teammates, he just does so much from his position that is unrivaled. One of the greatest offensive threats, not only today, but really of the last decade.
Catching up on the changes for Oklahoma City. Enes Kanter's checked in for Patterson. And Alex Abrinas subbed in for Roberson.
And that's the norm for him. He's pretty much automatic when he's at the line.
And George kicks to Kanter. Rebounded by Capella. Capella's got 3 rebounds now in this one. And for Harden, he's been in the conversation, Greg, for MVP for several years. The way he's able to just carry an offense with his creativity garners attention.
And Kevin, I think he might have won it last year if it wasn't for the amazing season put in by Russell Westbrook. Don't count Harden out, though. He's such a unique talent on offense. Maybe this will be his year to bring home that MVP award. Well, when Paul George announced this summer that he intended to leave for the Lakers when the contract ran out, you knew what was coming. Even as a rental possibility, the suitors lined up, and eventually the price was paid, and now George finds himself in a Thunder uniform.
And the first one goes. And to many, the Thunder came out of nowhere to land George in that trade.
You know, most thought Cleveland or maybe Boston were the front runners for his services, but the Thunder snuck in and made their team a 2-star squad once again. Very interesting to see how far the duo of Westbrook and George can go.
And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Greg, when you think about the franchises in the league that have sustained success, who are always competitive, Oklahoma City should be right there at the top.
I mean, just look at the records for the Thunder, and their success really does speak for itself. 8 straight seasons of 500 or better basketball. Only the Spurs and Rockets can also make that claim.
And so here is Oklahoma City after Eric Gordon hit the 3. George passes to Kristen. Oklahoma City moving the ball around. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. It's on Nene. Opening night, regular season doors, every club in the league hoping to pile up early wins. But how important is it really to come out of the gate strong and have that look in your eye, that focus?
I think if you're a young team where the key parts and personnel are in their formative stages, this is critical to getting some confidence and feeling like, okay, I know how to win at the NBA level. If you're a more veteran-laden team, they far greater understand that the NBA 82-game grind is about pacing. So I think it depends team to team what your approach and how important the early start is.
Great analysis. So 1 for 2 that time at the stripe.
Well, if you think back to last season, guys, the narrative was that Russell Westbrook had 0 help on this roster. To be completely honest, I thought it was unfair to the pieces that were around Russell Westbrook and the job they did playing their roles to exactly the standard this organization wanted.
Here's Kristen following the basket by Nene. And Kristen kicks to George. Pass to Abrinas. 3-pointer. Doesn't go that time. The Rockets go the other way with it. And what the fans are saying is that Westbrook, Doris, just needs more help around him.
Well, certainly the acquisition of Paul George should relieve some pressure on Russell Westbrook because now he's teamed along yet another superstar.
George, no good.
Just doing the job on the backboard.
In the corner, it's Gordon. And Kanter pulls it down. Thunder trailing by 6. Kristen, the pass to George. Lays it up off the glass. George has got 7 points.
Yeah, Paul George very confident down on the low block. He positions himself well to get off any shot he wants.
Deflects the pass. And Ba'amute dishes to Gordon. Back to Ba'amute. Kept alive by Houston. A nice shot by Tucker. Tucker's got his first bucket in this one.
Oh, if you don't put a body on Tucker, he will find a way to burn you on the offensive glass.
And George kicks to Grant. It'll count. And no good trying to get that one. And so it's the Houston Rockets with a 6-point lead at the end of the quarter. And it's been their rugged defense setting the tone. Back right after this. You talk to Chris Paul, and it's clear he was born to play the point guard position.
Fortunately, I've always been vertically challenged, so I've never had to play power forward or center on anybody's team. I've been passing and getting into the lane, dishing the ball off to a teammate, helping people score my entire career.
Vertically challenged, that's classic coming from Chris Paul. But, you know, seriously, Greg, he's taken that challenge and made the most of what he's got. A terrific play.
Really, and you know what? He's actually turned that challenge on his head when he goes right at much bigger players and uses their size against them.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And looking at what we've seen from Houston, what do you guys think?
Tough defense throughout that first period, and it's really paying dividends.
Well, I think there's a level of physicality with them right now and not allowing the opponent to feel comfortable getting into their heads just a bit.
This is how the floor looks for the Rockets starting the second. Chris Paul and Gordon are the backcourt pair. Nene is out there with Luke and Ba'amute. And it's Tucker in at the 3 slot. On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, guys, the Houston Rockets, one of the most explosive scoring teams in the league. Defense has been a shortcoming in the past. Coach Mike D'Antoni said, we have some good individual defenders. If the rest of them just try, well, that's the plan. Kevin?
Offense is what the Rockets are all about, D.A. You know that. Coach D'Antoni definitely focuses on this part of the game more than defense.
Well, that's just great work from Paul George to spot the open man. And at his size, he can see right over the defense.
We're about a minute and a half into the second quarter now. And Cantor over to help. Out to the right wing. All alone. It's rebounded by Oklahoma City.
Well, Kev, you have to love how Enes Kanter plays with his back to the basket. This guy is so efficient. He is one of the most productive big men off the bench, the kind of player every coach would love to have to get a little juice in your second unit. Yeah, the D was on him there, but he still managed to knock it down. Nice to be able to make a contested jumper.
And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets.
You know, it'll be interesting to see what coach draws up here.
Well, they need to stop this run, and a great timeout that hopefully gives his team some energy.
Something everyone seems to be doing these days, Doris, polishing their jumper, making sure that it becomes, you know, the first thought perhaps as they work on things in the offseason. In your opinion, who in the NBA has the smoothest shooting stroke, the best style?
Well, given that Ray Allen is retired in the last couple of years, he would have been the first guy to come to mind. My present best shooter and the guy who gets it off the fastest and is the most likely to incinerate a defense in a short period of time. That would be one Mr. Klay Thompson, arguably one of the best two-way players in today's NBA.
Great word, incinerate, because he can be so hot and so dangerous. Screen by Adams. Abrinas the pass to Westbrook. Over Ariza. The Rockets pull it in. Capella's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. Harden kicks to Ariza. It's good. The assist that time from Harden. And now a 4-point Houston lead. For Oklahoma City, they've gone 3 of 4 from the floor here in the second quarter. Outside Westbrook. The feed now to Adams. Over Anderson. Almost, but it rolls out. Gordon gets to Ariza. Traps in the tray. Ariza's got 5 points now this quarter.
Guys, listen, the defense was totally invisible on that three-point attempt. Nobody even in his zip code.
Here's Westbrook. And it's Westbrook again missing. Gordon goes in. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot two.
And Eric Gordon has long been noted as a terrific shooter, but I felt like he was able to display just how great he can be last season. Had that green light whenever he was on the floor and really near the top of the league in terms of threes attempted and made.
And he makes the first. And for Gordon, he's been a great catch-and-shoot player in the past, Greg. The difference last season was the improvement in his pull-up threes.
And there is a world of difference between shooting a three off the pass as opposed to off the dribble. The pull-up threes are what make players like Steph Curry so hard to guard. And when Gordon added that to his game, I think it helped his overall ability to score the basketball.
And again, Oklahoma City, no good.
Another rebound hauled in. They're hitting the glass with a lot of passion.
On the wing, Harden. He's covered by Westbrook. Harden's shot is off.
Well, they know not to leave him open from mid-range, and they're all over him on that shot.
Here's Roberson. And again, Oklahoma City, no good. Harden against Westbrook. There's the three. And no good that time. And Oklahoma City will go with it the other way. Here's Roberson. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line.
Yeah, good job to take it right at the D.
Well, you talk about the very definition of what a defensive specialist is, Doris, and that is Andre Roberson.
Right. What you love about Roberson is he can match up with multiple positions on the defensive end. One thing you worry about, obviously, is teams when he is on the offensive end, they're going to give him a lot of shots because he's yet to prove he can consistently knock those down.
That free throw, no good. So there's a new procedure for choosing starters in the All-Star game, Doris. Fans account for 50% of the vote, as you know. Players, 25%. Media, 25%. What do you think of that?
I love that the fans have a vote. I would like to see the percentages changed in this way. I would like players, the peers, to have 50% weight. Give the media and fans 25% each. So just swap it so that the peers are dictating the outcome of the All-Star.
Or even if you just had maybe two players from each team, guys with some respect and some nice perspective to fill that role you're talking about.
That's a great point. You pick your leaders from your group, and they cast the vote. Perfect. Listen, Kev, this guy, one of the more reliable scorers in the league, night in and night out.
Gordon with it. Westbrook picks him up. Gordon goes in. Capella dishes to Gordon. Again, the miss by Gordon.
Well, I'll tell you, it hasn't been his best quarter, but we know he won't get discouraged. This guy will keep grinding.
Here's Patterson. Lands soft on the front of the rim and drops. And now just a 4-point Rocket lead.
Well, the classic stretch four, right? Patrick Patterson creates so much space when he hits these mid-range jumpers. Nice.
35 seconds left in the first half. Anderson the screen. 5 on the clock. Harden. It's hauled in by Adams.
The defense there got away with a major lapse.
Kicks to Roberson. For 3, Westbrook. Tips it, but no good. And here comes Harden, leading the fast break. Another miss by Houston. Right side, Westbrook. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. That's on Clint Capella.
Hasn't Russell Westbrook matured into a spectacular leader? This is a guy his teammates look up to, and what a fearless competitor, guys.
And the first one at the line is good. and Russell Westbrook drops them both. Just 4 seconds left in the first half of basketball. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him.
Boy, the ground Russell Westbrook can cover. It's incredible. The speed, the wingspan, breathtaking.
And the first half comes to a close. We've got a close game going on here. Rockets lead by 2. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Chris, you guys shot a great percentage in the first half, but still a tight game. What do you think's causing that?
I think right now we're playing at that tempo. You know, we need to pick up the pace. Defend, rebound, run, and pick up the pace a little bit.
And defense starts that pace. Thanks, Chris. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David, for that interview. And we'll see you back here after the break for third quarter basketball.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And welcome to halftime. Hey, what a fantastic time of the year. NBA season getting underway. I'm
excited. I am really excited. I am really, really excited.
Houston holding the upper hand after the first 2 quarters. They've got a 2-point lead. Kenny, what did you see from them?
Well, their reserves showed up tonight. Not just on hustle plays, but in points. And that's what you got to do coming off the bench to maximize your minutes.
And big fella, let's get your thoughts on the Thunder.
You know, they haven't shot the ball very well. Not nearly enough quality looks. Right now, this game can easily come down to shot selection and how they run their offense. They need to keep the ball moving and generate better looks.
So that'll do it for now as we send you courtside with Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K crew for the start of the second half.